I was back at the University of Iowa in Iowa City. I'd gone to school. Hey! I dropped out of college and I went to New York and I lived there for a year and I went out to Los Angeles and lived there. I went back to Iowa and got this little apartment by a guy that had an old guy who was a sick old man that drank a lot of beer all day and all night. He had a big wall of beer cans stacked and he didn't move too well. I think he was crippled. That's just the color on the edge of the story. But there was a woman named Mary Jo Berry that I started seeing, and when we were in bed at night, sometimes it was cold, and it was in the wintertime. It was very cold in this little apartment. It was up in the corner of this little room in Iowa City, and I had these long johns, and I don't know what it was, if this was the 70s style still, but they were extra crotchy. They were red long johns, but they had this super crazy crotch, and really, if you wore them around your waist, there was all this puddle down here that nobody wanted, so it was natural to pull them up past your nipples. And once they were there, once you were trying to make Mary Jo Berry laugh, then you started becoming a strong man, and then I started saying I was the strongest man in the world. And she liked it, and ha ha ha, and off to bed we'd go. Yes, indeed. Well, and then at the University of Iowa, there's some friends of mine that did this performance show called No Shame Theater. And the little performances people would write, and I wrote this one about a guy who was in a mental hospital that had another guy that held him at bay with a broom because he was violent and reckless and broken. He'd been abused, and he was just this awful, sad man who had red long johns that were pulled up over his nipples. Ran around saying he was the strongest man in the world. My friend Mark McCright did it with me, and he was an art major. And I said, this guy doesn't have a name. What should we call him? And Mark went, Artie? Well, fair enough. So that's from the art major, and then wanted to get Mary Jo into bed. That's the origins of Artie.